What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to another AMA. Today is July 7th, and while we let some other people come on in here, let's get this out of the way. There we go. Broadcasting from another, so many stars. Yeah, broadcasting from another location from House of Dao here in Coconut Island, Phuket, Thailand. And if you guys haven't seen the some of our Saturday sessions videos, like, let's just give you a little brief thing. But we're going to be, basically doing a lot more behind the scenes kind of stuff. And so if you haven't seen our quick little Saturday session video, here's a little clip while we let some other people come on in here. Let's check this out real fast.
Oh, the rope broke. Oh no. How is it like losing your boyfriend?
He's like castaway right now.
It was nice knowing you, Kyle. Right now we've got a rescue mission. We gotta go get him. Mission accomplished. Looks like Paid Network still has its CEO. We're good.
Oh, that was a close one, guys. That was a close one. We got rescued though. And actually, that just shows one attempt, but we tied the rope back up and it broke again. And the second time we had more people on and had to get brought back in by the dinghy. So there was a quick question up here about the real estate. Congrats on House of Dao. Thank you very much. Out of curiosity, does Master Ventures own the House of Dao real estate, or is it a lease? So right now, this is something that we are working on with the family that actually own the property, and we're working on the different ways that we can do this. And of course, to us, community is incredibly important, and we think that using modern technology, tokenization, things like that, is the way to move forward to allow anybody that's interested to own a piece of House of Dao to be able to do that. Nothing's finalized at this point. It's all in discussions, but yeah, that's kind of where we're headed, what we're thinking. Long-term vision would be to incorporate the incubation from Master Ventures and House of Dao kind of together, and let people have upside and everything that's going on here. So I think that we plan on, now that we're actually here in House of Dao, and actually that it's a reality. We're probably going to start doing more content that has to do with exactly what is House of Dao from a philosophical perspective, because there's so much that goes into it other than just like a crypto village, and so yeah, and this has been something that I've been working on for a long time. I find so much value in being surrounded by people in the crypto space. There's everybody has their own networks, and everybody has their own experience and their own values that they can bring to the table. And when people come together and share resources and share experiences, and it really adds a tremendous amount of value that you cannot get on your own. It literally exponentially increases your learning curve, and it's the same thing for experience or non-experience. If you come and you immerse yourself, it's the same thing with learning a language, for example. If you immerse yourself in the environment, you're going to get a hold of it so much faster. And then they always tell you to hang around people that you want to, that you look up to or can learn from, you know, and certainly there's a lot of veterans here, and we're really happy to help out people who are around here. And just, this is what we do 24/7, 365 is talk about crypto, what's going on, bear market, bull market. It doesn't matter, you know. It's the conversation the whole time. So that's what we're doing over here. I know that you guys would love to hear some updates on what's going on here with some of the development side. So today we're going to bring in a couple of guys from the team. Jerome, who you've never met before, who's our senior front end developer. Jerome, hello.
Hey guys, thanks for having me, guy. What's up?
Jerome was with us in Thailand. He went back to visit some family for a little while, and is
Yes.
coming back hopefully very, very soon. And Jerome is working on a lot of the front end for Ignition and ApolloX, and we'll let him dive into it shortly. And then Dan, I don't know if Dan is here. Dan, let's see.
Not yet.
Oh, here comes Dan.
What up, brother? How's it going today?
Oh, how's it going, Dan? I like your hairstyle, man. You went to the hairdresser today?
Yeah, I just got it done.
I love it, man.
Looks really good, man. It's fire. Fire.
Match shirt.
Right on, right on. Okay, cool. So let's dive into it. Jerome, maybe you could do a little quick introduction about yourself, since people have never met you, and
Sure.
And just tell them, you know, kind of what your role is with us and what you're working on.
Yeah, so hi everyone. So I am the lead front-end developer for Ignition and ApolloX. I remember I joined the paid team in March, and I think my second day was actually the day where we had this few little problems with the blind box IDO. So it was like very challenging, but this day I realized that we kind of had like a huge technical debt that we had to solve, and I'm happy to tell you that this debt has been solved because we got a new backend, we improved the infrastructure, the deployment process, and now a new front end is coming. So we're going to be like 100% owner of our base code. So it's pretty cool. Now we're able to scale and maintain this project in peace.
Yeah, to give you guys a little bit more context, I mean, it's quite a funny story, you know. Like, so we brought Jerome on, and yeah, it was, you know, barely second day, just kind of learning what we were doing, and you know, this is when, you know, we just had, I think blind boxes was at maybe our third IDO or something like that, and we had, you know, all kinds of kinks and things like that to work out, and of course nothing had been smooth up until that point already, and yeah, Jerome comes on, and of course we couldn't get we had major problems, and that was his second day, and we were up until something like 8, it definitely was sunrise, 8 o'clock in the morning, something like that, trying to fix it. And Jerome was he really was critical in saving the day and at least getting us to be able to execute it that morning. So we realized, you know, how valuable he would be to the team, and he was able to you know, see what kind of gaping holes we had in the front end, and has been working on it ever since. And yep, and the preview of the front end looks clean as hell. It does look great, and everything has been, you know, the front end is just constantly improved, and you know, we realized how valuable it was to have Jerome on, and he's been a rock star ever since. You know, he quickly came from someone that we thought we might bring in to help us with a couple little things here and there. There was no like idea if he was going to be on full time or not. You know, we really had no idea of what kind of capability he had or how competent he was. But it was very clear after the that first 48 hours that he was going to be critical into what we were doing. And, so we're really happy to have him. He's been incredible team player and just hard worker, and really happy to have him. So thanks, Jerome.
So easy, so much easier. When you have somebody that cares and just like takes the time to think about what they're doing and make sure that it's going to be like a good user experience. I don't have to, as the product owner for Ignition, like I don't have to, specify every tiny little detail. He's thinking about these things like as a user himself as he builds everything. So yeah, it's been great. Yeah, that was our first project right after the hack. So everyone was just like exhausted from, we didn't want to lose a step. I mean, it could have been like a win, it could have been a domino effect. So we're like, yeah, we got to do everything we can to get this going. And yeah, I mean, we made it through, but yeah, it was definitely a tough time to kind of jump in.
Yeah. It was, it was,
like,
yeah, go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I was like, so when I start with you guys, I discover like the code of Ignition and so the front end, the back end. So this code, has been made by another company, and it was not like good quality code. And I was like, wow, it's gonna be challenging, but I'm very happy that we made it. So that's why, guys, we had like problems in the beginning because we had really to improve and at the same time maintain what we already have that was working, kinda. And so little by little, baby step, we made it, and I'm very excited for the future because I think this Ignition version 2 is gonna be, for me, the best idea, the best launchpad ever, because I created it also.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Jerome, I can't wait to see it. I haven't seen, guys, for whoever's watching this, you guys, I'm just as excited to see what they've been working on as you guys have. So, and then one more guest that I don't believe that we've had on the show before. We got Jedediah here, which was, he's been with us at Master Ventures for over a year and a half or something by now, maybe even longer. And there's just so much that we've been working on, that has been behind the scenes. We started crushing it in the bear market, and knowing that this feeling that a bull market was going to come, and that's really what we did to have paid in place for that. But Jed was really in charge of the dev team. Was the middleman between like myself, who has a very difficult time communicating with developers. Developers it's a language of its own, just on even speaking the same language, and so Jed, even though he's incredibly talented in everything that he does, literally good and can wear many hats. He saw also something that we needed and stepped up and really was helping manage. And recently we've brought in a new project lead or dev lead to replace him in that role and allow Jed to come more on the front end from a marketing and business development perspective. So yeah, Jed, maybe you could just say hello, introduce yourself, and
Yeah, you have so many channels, AMAs. I think I've been on this one before, but maybe it's the first time, if not. But great to see you all again. Little background on me. My background's venture capital, private equity. So I worked for a family office out of New York where we would invest in emerging technologies. I was really a frontline sales and marketing operator. So always in a C-level position, usually CEO, CSO, CMO. And I'd be responsible of taking like a newly acquired asset. I want to take a newly acquired asset and get it performing to the rate that we thought it would. So I can identify process-oriented opportunities to improve, very good at strategy and market positioning, understand technology. So I'm kind of a jack of all trades and a master of none. and excited to be here and help Master Venture.
Okay, cool. So we're gonna get into some of the questions, and in between questions, we'll have some of the updates from what the guys have been working on here. And just so you guys know, who commented on the stars earlier, it's actually a fun fact. Let me just turn this camera up right here real quick. The roof of where we work from is actually, there's 72,000 fiber optic cables that are ran in between upstairs and downstairs right here. So what you're seeing over here is actually a reflection of the stars in the ceiling coming through here and into our co-working space right now. So at night it looks pretty incredible. With it does look like the stars. It's amazing. But anyway, so can we give you a timeline on Parachain? I think for us investors, this would be great to know in terms of token utility, hence demand things. Yeah, it's a great question, and it's literally something we were just talking about, 45 minutes ago. It's hard to say exactly. From right now, we're still onboarding, Rust developers, and it will. From what I gather, building out Substrate is meant to be something that is an easy to compile building block like blockchain solution. So it's really, listening to Gavin and hearing exactly what they've created was basically for people like us or myself who basically who wants the capabilities of having a layer one to be able to customize things like transaction fees, and for people who have big ecosystems like us, to be able to have our own logic and be able to have a blockchain without having to actually build a blockchain from scratch. So, we have a lot of support, right? We have a huge network of influencers and KOLs and just a massive network in general. And we also launched, recently the Master Ventures, Polkadot and Kusama Ecosystem Fund. And we also are part of the Polkadot Link program as well from the Master Ventures Fund, also entering the Substrate Builders program from the paid side of things. So we're really, really, really deeply integrated at this point into the Polkadot ecosystem with the guys from Parity and Web3. So while my best guess for Parachain would be probably somewhere in the range of 4 to 6 months before we're actually bidding for a Kusama Parachain slot. It might happen sooner, but I've learned to try to be a little bit more conservative in timelines, and I would love it to happen as quickly as possible. So I realize that from people who are, and I can't give investment advice. So when you ask on behalf of a holder, I could just say that we could expect significant utility and demand, in a few different things, right? One of them, and I saw the comment earlier, was these different launch pads that are coming up. We have Ignition, which basically will remain the same as far as the token or the lottery model. We have Paid Network Asia, which is important to note. It's not, we're not branding it as China. It's going to be basically focused on Chinese communities like China, Hong Kong, Taiwan, I think, and then of course ApolloX. So those things, and then of course the paid chain will be massive, and that's for people who are watching and supporting us. That is really, really critical for the perception of our project, because a lot of people right now, I think, perceive us as a launchpad platform. Paid is a launchpad platform, right? But we will always use things like Ignition and ApolloX and Paid Network Asia to we'll always use them to continue to evolve the fundraising model, and I think that, with things like DAO structures, and, like Wyoming just approved the first legal DAO, but fundraising can get a lot more interesting than just a launchpad. You can start to put governance and insurance and accountability on fundraising, and that's exactly where we're going. In fact, it's in the paid network white paper. So we will evolve this to be more than a launchpad, but we really worked hard to build a network of investors to make that extremely valuable, for the long run. And who knows, in the future, we'll probably include things like tokenizing traditional companies too, with security tokens and things like that. But all of this everything that we're doing, House of DAO, the different products that we're incubating, all the fundraising platforms, the paid DApp, all of this this is all the more reason for us to have our own blockchain. And of course, encouraging all the dApps that are being built and incubating and advised by us. There's no reason that they wouldn't want to build on paid chain. It makes perfect sense. In fact, I'm sure we will have ecosystem grants and part of the incubation program, whether it's at House of DAO or it's virtually incubated. We'll encourage them to build on paid chain, and we're going to build it in a way that benefits people to do that. So, you could look at us as someone that would be a similar competitor to, Moonbeam, Plasm, Parastate, things like that. And I really expect us to, this takes it up a huge notch. But I feel like, you guys hear me talk about this stuff all the time. So Jerome, I think Emma really wants you to I think, Jerome, you can bring business here right now, man. This Emma is a big fan of yours,
Thank you so much, Emma. But I need to tell you that I have already found my partner. So I'm not single. I'm sorry.
Heartbreaker.
Sorry.
Jerome, Jerome, now she might not come to House of DAO anymore. You didn't need to be so direct. You could just kind of lead on a little bit, just.
Okay,
okay.
I'll take one for the team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of the things real fast, Kyle. As you're talking about this layer one solution and paid chain, I think, and you said it, motivating companies to do so, right? So we have a large network, and we have all this deal flow and launches and advisory and everything that you just described that makes a lot of sense to participate in the paid chain ecosystem. But I also just think from a bottom line strategy incentive perspective, we have some ideas that we haven't seen in the market yet, and I think they're game changers for the way that a layer one solution approaches the economy associated with a layer one solution. And I won't say anything more than that, but yeah, I think it's really cool, exciting, different, and proper.
So Jerome, maybe or Dan, what do you guys have been working on? Let us. I want to know too.
I think the big thing is the dashboard, right, Jerome? Especially for Ignition users.
Yeah, the Ignition V2 is coming with a dashboard that you guys is going to help user to redeem from the pool that you have joined. So it's going to be super easy. You just click on your profile dashboard, and then you will see all of the pool you have joined. You'll be able to redeem if you haven't. And also you will see the open lottery. So you can join a lottery, you can update your application, and also you will be able to see your result.
Yeah, and there's also a filter on the projects you've joined. So you can, and just like that, you can see if there's any that you haven't redeemed for. So maybe you joined one, 2 months ago and you forgot about it. You just hit that filter button and then that'll pop up. So that's going to be super nice too. Yeah.
Here's a good question that you guys can answer. We've already minted our token on BSC, right? So what are we waiting for as far as the bridge or whatever?
Right. So I just got confirmation today. We've used the bridge on testnet. Everything went well. We're planning to put it on mainnet today. And if everything goes well, we should have it available in the next few days for us to port paid tokens over and open our PancakeSwap pool. So yeah, we're really close. And then we're also going to put that bridge available to end users. So if you want to move your paid onto BSC as well, we'll also be adding that into Ignition, so you'll be able to move your tokens between chains. So we're very close.
On ApolloX also.
What's that?
On ApolloX, you'll be able to switch to have this bridge on ApolloX and Ignition.
Yeah, so we had an announcement of announcements yesterday. I saw that, and I was curious as well. Usually on these AMAs, I kind of tell there's not a whole lot of people here, and I love to give those who are listening, the inside scoop, because frankly, it's not really a public announcement. This is more like our private members VIP community. So, do you guys know what this announcement is all about?
It could be that the paid gap is getting real close.
Yeah, I think that was it. It's just like stating that there was both ApolloX and Ignition 2.0 were going to be ready earlier than anticipated. So we didn't specify the specific date on when they'll be ready, and that's kind of the announcement of the announcement kind of thing. But we did say that they'll be ready earlier than anticipated.
Hackathon is happening very, very, very soon.
Let's see. We had another question. Okay. Yeah. So, well, hold on, let me do this. Yeah. Okay. Well, so when are you participating in KSM Parachain? Is there a crowd loan for paid? Yeah. So this is we're actually, so like a lot of projects, when they launch, they don't really have a valid use case for utility for their token yet. We basically did from a couple of weeks after we launched our pay token, right? We had actual utility, and so we didn't. We had, I think, 10% of the token supply set aside for staking rewards. Staking rewards really, are mostly used in projects as incentive for people not to sell their tokens while they're building out whatever utility it is that they're building on their project. So because we had actual utility and real demand for the token, we didn't use any of those tokens. And I'm glad that we didn't, because when we first created paid, we weren't thinking about going into becoming layer one, and also weren't really aware of all the advantages of going to become a parachain. And yeah, so as on behalf of the fund and just an investor myself, studying some of these different parachain auction models, learning kind of what other projects are doing. And by the way, I think that some of them have to be a little bit cautious about the type of inflation that you're seeing. Some of them are offering really high airdrops to people who are supporting their crowd loans. And while this might incentivize people to participate, it also concerns me with the value of that token when you have a really high inflation rate over that year. People are just selling into the market. So there's a lot of science that needs to be done behind this. But basically, yeah, we will be rewarding people with paid tokens, and that will come from that bucket of the staking rewards. We'll basically be redoing the token economics to allow for a long-term sustainable crowd loan model, because we want to become a parachain for the foreseeable future, not just for a short-term lease. So yeah, so I'm glad that we didn't do that. Didn't do the staking rewards, because now we have those tokens available for that. And by the way, we haven't actually sold any tokens from anywhere yet. That's so yeah, I mean, just so you guys know, like, we have, you know, when you create token economics and you see this pie chart, you know, whenever you're studying a project before they launch, they've got, you know, they're selling 15 or 20% of the tokens, 15 or 20% of tokens are set aside for the team. Then you've got general reserve, you've got ecosystem growth development, you've got marketing, whatever. And these things are released on different vesting schedules and lock schedules. And those are used for like what they're allocated for. You know, and we have had these buckets unlocking over time, but we all really believe that, you know, selling these tokens in the market wasn't something that we wanted to do because we just think that the project is too valuable to be selling these tokens in the market to use them what they're basically for. Anyway, that just to show you, in my opinion, that we're big believers in the value of the network, and that we think that the entire market is undervalued, especially our project. So, so we have a lot. Basically, the point of the message, huh?
I was just gonna say, yeah, we feel like anything we sell right now is just so discounted; it's not worth it to us. Like, we're losing value with anything that we release into the market.
Yeah. This is, I guess this is an AMA for anything. So regarding the Polkadot fund, investors be given the ability to participate in seed or private rounds of selected projects on top of the money put in from the fund. Yeah. So there is so for any LPs of $500,000 or more, we will be negotiating with the projects that we invest into to offer allocation to the LPs that are part of that category in the fund. That's a huge upside incentive that not a lot of funds offer opportunity into. So you depend on winning 1 out of 100 Parachain auction slots to launch Parachain. Yeah, we do. So that's the interesting thing about Kusama and Polkadot, right? Is the finite supply. It's an ultra scarce supply, and this is something that you don't get on ecosystems like Cardano or Solana or anything else really, and it gives you a really unique advantage. And it's really important for us because we're so focused on the business use case of what we're building. We didn't want to go out and build a blockchain from scratch. That would be ridiculous. You know, there are already people who have done an exceptional job at it. So it is really important to us to win one of these 100 Polkadot Parachain slots. And before we do that, we'll go to Kusama. But yeah, we absolutely plan on doing it. You know, I mean, there's, I mean, I've been in this space for almost 10 years. I literally know almost everybody in the space, and we have the ability to market very well and gather, you know, very well. And we have a lot of influential people who are still holding paid. And I think a lot of people are going to be rallying for us, you know, when it's time to bid on that auction slot. So not to mention, you know, the fact that we have the Polkadot and Kusama ecosystem fund, it just makes a lot of sense for us to do it. I'm extremely confident in our ability to obtain these slots. You guys can feel free to jump in too. I'll just read these comments. Anything that you see that you want to answer.
Yeah, I saw a question for myself. Let me find it. It was from MG Caffeine. I don't know how to pronounce it, sorry. Jerome, can you guys please add a max allocation tab? That would be great if you can click on it instead of typing the amount. So actually, if you click on your max allocation when you join the pool on the model, yeah, exactly. Thank you. So it's working. You don't need to type the amount. You just need to click.
Yeah, maybe users aren't aware. We colored it the same as like any other link on Ignition. So if you click the amount, it will actually fill that. But maybe we put a little max, kind of like you have on other platforms. That's more typical users would recognize that a lot more. That's a good suggestion.
It's a great idea. Mm.
Yeah, I think we just answered this question. I don't. Let's see that. I guess the reason why you're asking for the reason. So this is, I did tell you guys that we would be on PancakeSwap a while ago for sure, and we are delayed on that by a lot. So we're no denying that. I guess since we have some guys from the development team, can you tell us what happened there? Why we are so delayed?
Yeah, so actually, in order to get that done, we have to, we've already launched the paid token on BSC, but it's all the supply there is locked. In order to have supply unlocked there, we have to send from Ethereum over there. In order to do that, we need a bridge. So we were working with an existing bridge, and we got delayed because we're working with a third party, and we were at kind of their whim of releasing what they needed to release. It wasn't just like, oh yeah, you can use our bridge. They actually had to release code to support paid getting able to be bridged and ported over. So we got just kind of like behind in their backlog more than we had expected, and a few other snags. And so that's kind of why the delay happened. As very often happens with stuff like this with development, there's so many moving pieces and everything's kind of like, you pull on this thing or you pull this week here and everything's disconnected and stuff just, can snowball into longer delays than we anticipate.
Yeah, and just kind of generally speaking, because you guys all invest in software companies, if you're investing in crypto, is like the key thing is like third-party dependencies that really start to throw some curveballs. And when you're creating timelines and roadmaps and communicating all of this, you can only communicate so many details. And so often, like, what are the requirements of hitting this date? And is one of those requirements dependent on any third party outside of your control? It's hard to like provide that level of detail, and oftentimes that interferes with a project. And then also you guys have to really remember is we're building things that haven't been built before, a lot of the time. And so when you're pioneering the unknown, you try to take as much like of an educated approach as possible, but there is always the unknown. And like whatever unknown entails, it could be like an hour of unknown, it could be weeks of unknown once you start exploring it. So yeah, just like food for thought as you are in this space.
There's some questions about hold on about staking. Yeah, but hold on real quick. Humongous. Hey man, I'm sorry that you got banned from whatever Telegram community it was. Sometimes I'm not sure what the reason is, but please feel free to just reach out to me, man. My Telegram is at Kyle Chasse, exactly like my name. Just let me know what happened, and I'll try to get you included back in it. Just if you were being ridiculous or rude or whatever, then maybe that's why. I believe in I definitely believe in like freedom of speech, and we try not to like have ridiculousness. If you were just being a pure dick in there or something like that, then maybe that's why you got booted. But my gut feeling, you being here tells me that you probably weren't. So yeah, please just message me, man. I'm happy to chat with you and get you back in there, because I don't want to have any of our supporters feeling left out. So sorry about that, man, and hope we can get you back involved. Okay, so now let's talk about staking, and this is this is a good question because staking's so easy to do, right? Like everybody has staking on day one, and so why has it taken us so long to get staking implemented?
Yeah, if you guys don't, Dan, you're not familiar with the answer, a lot of it has to do with the auditing of the smart contracts. So there's kind of phases of like preparation and getting it ready. And then there's a variety of auditors that you can choose from. They all have a queue. Doesn't necessarily just mean that like you have staking code ready to be audited, that your auditing company is ready to audit you. And then what's really hard to anticipate is what are they going to find in that audit? So they're going to do the initial audit. They're going to come back with a report. You're going to have to fix everything they come back with. You did everything, the best of your ability the first time. You thought it was right. You get it audited to double check. Again, we're building stuff that nobody's ever built before, a lot of unknowns. So you build it to the best of your ability. You have confidence that it's right. You submit it to an auditor, they come back with fixes. Now, who knows how long that's going to be? What do those fixes entail? What is the time frame? You're going to fix it, and then there's going to be a re-audit. And this process, there's not too much back and forth. It's usually.
But sorry, but isn't there? So from what I understood, because I suggested multiple times, let's just use a third party staking contract, right? But I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, the response was that we needed our staking contracts to be custom because of the way that it interacted with the lottery or whitelist or something like that. It wasn't like,
that's a big part.
So it's like what you learn in technology is like whatever is needed today in the market might change in the future, right? So a model works today, a staking model works today. 2 years from now, that model may or may not be the same. How much APY? How long is the commitment? We might run campaigns where people can stake for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 1 month, 2 months. 5% APY, 10% APY. So we need this back-end administration panel that allows us to do that. And not just Ignition. We built this for ApolloX. We built this for the paid ecosystem that we anticipate will have many different approaches and spins. And we needed something because otherwise you have technical debt, because you have to go back and change stuff and re-audit and fix and re-audit. And this technical debt is so expensive that you learn with experience to build things in a way when needed to scale. And this needs to scale. The industry will change drastically over the coming years.
Yeah. So
yeah, and
Karen,
also
go ahead.
One more thing. And like Kyle was saying, like we were looking at the Ignition as like our first point of having some sort of utility early on. We weren't really that, we weren't caring that much about staking earlier on in the project. We were looking at these other things as what we wanted to focus on and develop around. So it's like another reason why, we're getting to it a little later than maybe other projects that don't really have anything to offer but staking. So that's one thing. Yeah. And then, like Jed was saying, the audits take time. The auditors have been super busy, et cetera. Once we get it back from the auditor, we're also now auditing all code that is interacting with smart contracts. So I don't really know if a lot of other projects are doing this or not, but it's something that we're doing to make sure, we're committed to making sure this is safe for you. When you send your funds in to stake, we want to make sure that our code that's interacting with that contract is secure and your funds are safe and, wouldn't go somewhere else. And, whenever you're using, any sort of platform, before your money actually gets from your wallet on chain, there's stuff in there that could go wrong. So we're being extra careful, making sure all the code's audited that touches the smart contract, so your guys' funds are safe. Okay, so when staking then?
Yeah, I would love to add something then. Okay, yeah, go ahead then. Yeah, okay. So like, for example, like for the moment I'm working on the ApolloX staking, like finalizing the little detail. It's about to be done. But like Jet said, sometimes we need to change the contract because it doesn't fit the product requirement. And then if we change the contract, we need to audit again the contract because it's we are managing funds of people. We need to be extra careful. And like Dan said, like we need also to audit the code that's going to interact with the contract front end and back end. So we want to make things like safe for everyone, and we really want to do things with huge quality. So yeah, it's taking time.
Yeah, I would say.
Okay, guys, that's enough. That's enough about the staking. Yeah. Seriously, that's it. It was just a. Yeah, go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say. Unfortunately, I have to hop. But thanks for having me on again. I don't think there are any last questions really directly at me. So unless you guys have anything else, I'm gonna get going and let you guys get back to it.
We got it, man. Thanks.
Thanks.
Enjoy the rest
See
of your
you guys
evening. Put your wig back on.
next time. Gotta have me on again.
See you.
Karen, I wrote a comment in the Karen's asking about research in crypto. We actually are looking for someone to help us with research for my YouTube channel and just in general. So I put our producer, and I just left a comment down there. Mike, you could just reach out to him and have a chat about that. Another thing too, this reminded me of something. I just wanted to, the reason for staking. People want to know, one, can I earn? I believe in paid, so I want to hold it and participate in IDOs. But more importantly, like it removes circulating supply and locks up tokens over for an extended period of time, reducing supply. I think I mentioned this before, but just one thing, if you don't remember, like it's really, really exciting is on ApolloX, and if it goes well, we'll probably do it also on the other launch pads as well, is this idea of a traditional style lottery. Something like I used to do back in the day, for when did I do that? The lottery, was it on an AMA or was it when I showed the video of it?
I think it was last year.
Okay, so yeah, so anyway, we're gonna do it where people can just so for one paid token, you can buy one lottery ticket, and yeah, you can either pick your own numbers or randomly have them chosen for you, and we will do a drawing on these, on every IDO or once a week or whatever it might be, and we'll have a big pot from allocations, kind of like the crypto cases that we're doing right now, but on a separate one. So you can imagine that. Let's say that we get, because this will be a whole different thing than our crypto connoisseur show. That giveaway, if you guys aren't aware, is going to be insane. I'm talking about going into this is over right now. I think it's over. We already have at least 2 or 3 more projects that committed at least $10,000 to this. So we're at I don't know, somewhere around $150,000+ of private sale allocation. If you invested $5,000 into paid's private sale, you became a millionaire, right? So imagine this kind of private sales in a bull run or altcoin season. It'll be insane. The minimum goal is $1 million giveaway. We're going to be doing something very similar for this for a lottery. This is going to be crazy, right? So imagine we do something very similar like this, and it's not easy to win a lottery. I mean, it's intentionally meant to have a high jackpot and have the odds not be so great to win the jackpot. But if you get 4 out of 5 right, you'll win some. You'll win a good amount. It'll be healthy. You get 3 out of 5, you'll also win something. Maybe 2 out of 5, you might get a free play or something like that. And so imagine that we get this huge pot coming, that we're talking $1 million, $2 million, and for your chance at winning that, you just have to spend 1 paid token, to buy 1 lottery ticket, or you can spend 100 paid tokens and get a lottery ticket, and those paid tokens will be burnt forever, right? So imagine, and this lottery, you'll have better odds of winning than any lottery in America or really any nation state, because usually those are you have to get 6 balls right or whatever, not 5 like we'll probably end up doing. So you have much better chances of winning the one that we're going to be doing than anything else, and it's in crypto. So imagine we get to a point where we've got a couple $1 million in the pot full of different crypto, different projects, and that keeps just stacking up. We could theoretically, potentially have hundreds of thousands of entries every single week, and that gets to a pretty dramatic burn rate when you start talking about supply. And I think that this is going to be something that's very exciting. Don't charge one pay token. It will be too expensive. So Milton, like, I mean, right now, I don't know what pay token is at right now, but it's not expensive right now. It's what is it, 40 cents or something? So yeah, if it goes, we want it to be really affordable, right? So if paid goes to $5 or $10, then we will have it be a fifth or a tenth of a paid. You know, it should be, you know, right around somewhere around $1 or something like that per ticket. Something similar to what, you know, what I grew up and played. You know, went to the liquor store with my dad and bought a lottery ticket. You know, it should be that feeling. You know, most of us grew up in a country where, you know, our parents took us to buy a lottery ticket at one point or another, and we all sat there and crossed our fingers and imagined, you know, those lucky numbers coming up and us, our life changing forever. So, yeah. So anyway, I'm really excited about it, and I just wanted to remind people about that because I think that's going to be great. If you guys, you know, I see some comments too about this, the graphic I just put up for the giveaway. That's happening on my Tuesday show, Crypto Connoisseurs. It's very much like Crypto Banter from Rand Nooner. You know, we got different guests on the show every week. And all you guys have to do is show up, subscribe, and comment and just participate. And you know, we're paying attention to, you know, the long-term supporters. And then at the end, you know, whenever, we don't know yet when we'll end up doing this giveaway. It could be, you know, we definitely want it to be with some bullish momentum. And we want like I said, the value of this giveaway to be at least minimum $1 million. And I think that we'll hit that very soon. But probably, you know, much more likely for this thing to be $2-3 million. And again, doing the same kind of idea for paid token holders on just burning paid. And I really can see that being a massive burning mechanism built into it. So that'll be very exciting. Polkadot fund, I'm interested in investing, but it's not clear what sort of return I can expect. Interest plus native token airdrops. No, I can't give you any type of estimate. I would get in trouble from that. Like I'm usually, you know, I'm the kind of person that tends to do some, like I've learned my lessons. I've been scolded by people that I hired, you know, of being a little bit too transparent or whatever. You know, we have to deal with these regulatory bodies who, and plus, you know, just like anyone would tell you in crypto, you know, like you just can't predict what the market's going to do. I guess the best way to kind of assess that is just look at, you know, the track record from Master Ventures and see what kind of investments have been made in the past and see what, you know, what those have produced for today. And, you know, you can kind of expect, I guess, something similar to that. But what does the saying go? Something about history does not indicate future something or other. You know that saying? I don't know what it is. Future performance does not indicate, or no, something. Your mind likes and what it doesn't, and what works for you. You know, the thing that I know about our team is, you know, our team is about 65 people, and from what I can tell, from what I understand, is everybody is really, really happy to be here, and everybody's really passionate about what we're building and exciting, and everybody on our team are self-starters and have an entrepreneurial mindset, you know. And someone like for example, you know, Jerome, like I said, he came in, you know, with we just kind of brought him in with the intention of just having some temporary help, and within, you know, a very short amount of time, you know, was promoted all the way up into, you know, senior front end, like lead developer. So it's yeah, I think that, you know, to me, the worst thing in life that you could possibly do would be to have a 9-to-5 job that you didn't like, with your goal of retiring when you're old. And that just seems like the worst life ever. But yet that's what's promoted in our in our legacy world. And I every opportunity I get, I try to encourage people to break out of that rat race and kind of open your mind and do it. So anyway, I'm just ranting or just chatting here. But if you guys have anything to add.
Understanding yourself and optimizing your environment, like you said, like you understand what works for you. If you're like conscious and paying attention, then it's like a pursuit of happiness, and you're looking at like what works and what doesn't work, and you're optimizing, your environment for whatever you want to be. But then so going back to the dev team, which I think is critical, is like Ben and Dean are two people. I don't know how much you spoke about them, but like the organization that they're putting in place for the tech department, I think is critical for us moving forward. And I see a lot of comments here, like what is exciting, what is the tech team doing, et cetera, et cetera. Like organization and preparation for efficiency is some of the best things that we can do, because it increases productivity. And so one of the things that we're really focused on right now is taking a step back and doing everything that we do better tomorrow than we did it the day before. And it's hard for that to like be newsworthy, but you'll see how it translates into the things that are newsworthy and how quickly we start to produce.
Do you think that, Kyle, do you think that when day 4 or 5 years are paid will be in any institution balance sheet? Yeah, of course. I mean, like one of the things that I strongly believe in is that in 4 to 5 years from now, most of the infrastructure to allow you to hold any type of digital asset and spend that anywhere will have been implemented. So if I'm holding paid and I want to go buy something at 7-Eleven, I'm going to be able to do that, right? Everything's being built on the back end to allow that to happen. And institutions are looking to make sound investments, right? And you see them coming into projects like Cardano just now, when it's already valued at a multi-billion-dollar market cap. So institutions aren't going to feel comfortable coming into something like paid, for example, until it achieves a more mature place and kind of demonstrates the fact that it's going to be a key player in this space. But we have been a key player in the space, and I guess you could even say, some might even be able to say that something like Binance is a good example of an institution. I mean, they're as much of a bank as any bank I know. They provide every type of financial service you could ever imagine, and we paid is on their balance sheet already. But when it comes to something like Grayscale or something like that, I do think that we will be. We're I want to remind people time and time again. We're the only project that I know of that is attempting to solve one of the most inefficient systems in the world. It is literally impossible for you to have some type of justice if someone that you've done business with screws you over. If in 99% of the cases, it's too costly, it's too time consuming, and now that everybody's a digital nomad, it becomes literally impossible. To if you do business with someone cross border, it's just not an efficient system whatsoever. And so, because this is something that is so severely needed in the world, and nothing like it out there exists to solve this problem. No one even thinks about it. When I talk to people who are in legal tech, they're talking about building things like contract development software that helps a company create their own contracts versus a lawyer or something. But nobody ever thinks about dispute resolution outside of a lawyer system. That's the most that they can think of as mediation, which is still part of the justice system. So to have a decentralized form of arbitration, nobody's even going down that path. There's millions of DeFi plays and NFT plays and this and that. And yeah, go ahead, Jen.
Yeah, I think that's critical. And what we're starting to explore right now from like a market penetration and like industry validation perspective is how to work with legal tech. Like we need to revolutionize the vision of legal tech. And we need to show them that it's not just about efficiency, it's about redefining systems. And we have irons in the fire that if we do that and work with kind of the future of the legal industry from an infrastructure perspective, that's key. And we have, I feel like, the right resources and network in place to do exactly that. And that's game changing for us, for sure.
Yeah. There's one thing that we do have to wrap up pretty soon. But there's one part. Are you going to build many projects which require use of pay token? And that's the, yeah, so we'll never stop innovating. And like I said before, you know, it's the same mentality as CZ or something, right? Every time that we think of a new use case or something that we can add onto paid chain, we're going to do it, and it's going to be, you know, you're going to be required to have paid in order to use that function. So there's just going to be so much use cases for it. Additionally, paid chain itself, every time that a project wants to build in paid chain, it's either going to have to use paid as gas, or they're going to have to stake a significant amount of paid to have access to read and write to our blockchain. So and share that security that we have with the Polkadot ecosystem. So that's huge, right? Every single time a project, a DApp wants to come build in PayChain, it's going to require a significant amount of paid to be held, and that's going to create more utility. So
yeah,
yeah,
Kyle, like really fast, you want to understand the opportunity of paid chain. Understand everything is a value exchange, right? Like everything. So how much value can we create in the industry? And what we're going to ask in return for that exchange is people build and use our DApp, and we're going to incentivize them to do so. So like when you want to understand what we can do, just like try to quantify how much value we can create, and all that network and that value, we're going to funnel back down to paid chain. And that's why it's so massive. It's crazy.
Yeah, this is one of the things that so it's asking if paid network with property and contract exchanges, etc. So one of the things that I think is going to be something for us to try to figure out how to achieve is something that is tied to a government entity in some way or another. So you know, it's one thing when two individuals have a dispute for dispute resolution because there's no title or deed to something that ultimately has to be decided by a court. So this is something that, you know, until we can figure out how to, you know, somehow tie titles or deeds into a system like this, it'll be one of the things that we'd have to focus on, you know, down the line quite a bit. Guys, also, Mike just reminded me that there is actually a link in the description below to join the giveaway contest that we have. So again, that's for the crypto cases giveaway that we were trying to do. So just make sure you go down to the comments below and make sure you guys are liking this video and share it if you like this kind of stuff. You know, let's get it spread around, and yeah, so that's that. So guys, I guess I would love to just sit here and banter all night, but we got to wrap it up. So thank you guys.